Alright guys, what's up? So in this video I wanted to go over essentially how to use this document for your acute weight cut. So this is basically going to be a gut cut and water load protocol. They're basically two parts of it. So the reason why the gut cut works, first off, is because when we are eating food that has mass in our GI tract. So for example, if you have like 500 grams of strawberries, that's going to be 500 grams of weight in your GI. Even though that's not going to be a lot of calories, that is going to be a lot of food weight in your stomach. And it's not going to be very many calories. One thing that we can do to manipulate body weight is manipulating energy density of our food. So, for example, instead of having 100 grams of carbs from strawberries, we can have that from something like Skittles. That's going to take a lot less food weight in our GI tract and will help us physically weigh more. Even though calories are what determine body composition. When we're talking about acute weight cuts, we're talking about manipulating body water primarily, and then gut content. Our bodies are mostly water. And then, we can be holding, a decent amount of food in our GI tract, depending on how much, how high your food volume is on a regular basis. And I do find that, just as a preface, people that already have a rather high food volume when they are doing a gut cut tend to lose a little bit more weight than people that don't have as much food volume in their regular diets. However, with this whole entire gut cut and water load protocol, you should notice about a 3 to 5% weight drop combined with it. If you're doing like just the gut cut, I will say probably I see about 2% from that. With the water load, cut in there, it does turn out to be about 3 to 5%. So this is going to be essentially how to use this document. Obviously, before starting, watch the video. I'm going to link it right here. But this is very, very simple. So basically, whatever your current calories, this is going to work best if you know your calories. If you don't know what your average calorie intake is, you should track for at least a week, see what your average calorie intake is, and then you can input that right here. So if you get 3,000 calories, for example, this is how many calories you have from salted almonds, peanuts, and protein shakes, and then how many calories you should have from high density carbohydrates. So that would basically be things like cookies, ice cream, Skittles, sour candy, cereal, just like high density stuff that's not going to have a lot of food volume, brownies, like whatever, basically junk food. Like this week is going to be like these 3 days before your competition are going to basically be you're going to be eating like your 5-year-old you would really like. So that's sort of like what you want to think of. So basically what I have basically calculated in here is how many calories you want to be getting from each source of food. For protein shakes, almonds, peanuts. Peanut butter also works here, and high density carbs depending upon your calorie intake. So for example, if you have 4,000 calories a day, that's what the ratio looks like. So you have 2,200. That's what it looks like. Whatnot. You just enter in your calories, and it will auto populate. All you have to do on this sheet is just put in your calories right here. Everything else is going to auto populate. Everything else is protected, and you don't need to do that. Now on this Friday one, what you want to do is basically cut food and water off 14, 16 hours from weigh-in. So if you're weighing at 9 a.m., cut food off anywhere between 7 and 5 p.m. That's going to actually help you let you float off more weight. You will lose more water. You'll be peeing more. When you're breathing, you're also losing water, etc. So that's what I would recommend doing on Friday. Now, some things that you can do on how to further the gut cut if things do get to be, if really, there's more weight loss than has to be needed, replacing like your carbohydrates for mostly like ice cream, and that is going to be like liquid, with things like, and then the liquid carbohydrates, again, that's less stuff that's going to actually be in your GI tract. It's just going to be absorbed, and it's not going to actually like hold weight in your GI. Or what you can basically do is if you're having a little bit more carbs, these high density carbs, you can have even less carbs, so like, going, say under 100 grams of carbs, or again, like I said, ice cream. It's going to be very, very low food weight. It will turn it into water in your GI tract, very high density. Stuff like a Ben & Jerry's, Haagen-Dazs, whatever, is going to work very well. Now, as a side note, if you have a Friday meet, obviously you can change this out to basically these days. Essentially, this is just going to be like Wednesday / 3 days out from weigh-ins, 2 days out from weigh-ins, and this is going to be 1 day out. One other thing that you can do on Saturday, if you need to like lose weight, you can get Jolly Ranchers and then just spit For 1 to 2 hours, you can lose about 1% body weight, 2% body weight doing that. It's not fun, but if you have to make weight, you got to do what you have to do. Now, in addition to this, the water load is going to be also a part of this. So if you have above 2% to cut, I would recommend also doing the water load and the water cut. Essentially, how this works is that when you load water, there are some hormones in your body that hold on to fluid and salts and potassium, etc. Aldosterone, vasopressin, like renin, stuff like that. Basically, you're going to be altering our kidneys. So basically, if we have a couple of days of higher water intake than we normally do, about double it, and then we lower down the water, we'll lose water weight because our hormones are going to upregulate, because it's like saying, oh, we have more fluid coming in, so we're going to have more. We're going to need to pee out more. We're going to, we can't hold on to as much. But when you cut down water, because there's a little bit of a lag time for those hormones to auto-regulate and go back down to normal, to basically match what's going in, you're going to just keep peeing because your body's expecting or getting, double the amount of fluid that you normally do get. Same thing is apply here. Again, if you can alter these. Basically, the water load is going to be a period of 2 days, and then you're going to taper it down. So if you have 1 gallon of water, that's what you're going to do. Now, one thing just keep in mind, a lot of people will freak out when they first do the water load when they see their weight go up. You expect that it's going to go up most of the days that you're going to be water loading. That's totally expected. That's normal. You're drinking more water. Again, like 28 ounces. So it is going to be like, I think it's like 1/4 of a pound. No, sorry. 454 ounces is like going to equal 1 pound. So if you're having like an extra, anyways, the point is, if you're having more water weight, you're going to increase weight. Do not freak out. Just to be completely honest with you guys, most of this weight loss is in this water load and gut cut is going to happen within the last 14 to 16 hours before weigh-ins. That's essentially how things tend to happen. You don't want to be dehydrated for days on end, whatever. Most of this is going to happen in the last few days. This is the gut cut is going to be the least risky protocol to use because you're still having calories high. Some people might feel kind of weird with it. You will feel a little bit more hungry. Your stomach will probably shrink a little bit. That's okay. That's normal. That's expected. And this is going to be probably the best way to lose weight without having like any sort of negative impact on your overall health and your performance. But obviously, if you have to do, if you still have more weight to lose, after the water load and the water cut, if you have to go into the sauna, walk around, etc., like you can do that. Just make sure that you understand how to respond to that. This is also going to be now one other important part of this process is going to be reporting your AM and PM body weight. The reason why is because if you say you lose 5 pounds between evening and morning on the average, you can basically expect that's probably going to be about what you're going to lose a bare minimum going into your meet. Now, again, if you're doing the water cut, you're going to probably lose about 2 or 3% more weight than you average would do. But this is going to basically give us a really good spot. So, for example, if you wake up 190, you have at 195, it's going to show you a difference of about 5 pounds of difference between your AM and PM body weight. You also compare this to like this day. So say if you're like 189, and then you go to bed at 194. Like again, it's like about a 5 pound difference. Anyways, this is going to help you just plan so that you're going to have less unknown variables. So hopefully this is helpful for you guys. In another clip, I'm going to add another spreadsheet with how to after you weigh in, generally what you want to focus on is reconstitution. I'm going to have another sheet on here basically just to follow, but prioritize getting in fluids after your weigh-ins, primarily more salt, especially if you do the water cut. You're going to be losing a lot of electrolytes and water intake. It's going to be the most important thing to get back, and then really focus on carbohydrates, getting those back in to your system, and whatnot. I'll have a little bit more of a sheet where I go over that a little bit more. But hopefully this is helpful for you guys with planning your weight cuts. Again, on this sheet, all you have to do is enter in stuff right here. Just enter in this right here. If you don't know your calorie intake or your fluid intake, just track it for a week, and you should be in a good spot to do this. By the way, last note, if you are having like more liquid diet, just like for example ice cream, like incorporate that into your fluid intake. There's something that you have to do, like just get a gallon jug or whatever and just monitor it like that. So hopefully this is helpful. If you guys have any questions, you could just email me at adamdp@gmail.com. But hopefully this is helpful. Okay, so now you've cut weight, you made weigh-ins. What do you do after you weigh in and have cut weight? So number one thing that we want to focus on is going to be being rehydrated again, getting our body weight back up and whatnot. Because being dehydrated is going to have the biggest impact on our performance, as well as being electrolyte depleted. So within the first 15 minutes after weigh-ins, you should be having about 16 to 32 ounces of water. I'm gonna put that about 2 pints. Yeah, actually about one. Sorry, no, that's right. And then basically don't do more than that. Do not chug on that. That was going to have some GI distress. Your body's going to be rather sensitive to water and food after cutting weight. I typically recommend like Pedialyte or having like a tri-oral packet or something like that. Something that has water and electrolytes. Ideally, some carbohydrate with it too. That's going to help the body already start to replenish glycogen and use the salt better and absorb it better and all the electrolytes. Give your body 10 minutes. Again, do not chug it. Only sip on it during that time. If you can sip on it during the 10 minutes, and then sip another pint, 17 ounces. Same thing, Pedialyte. That's going to be the best option. Do that for the first hour, like every 10 minutes. Do that. Let your body just really recover and whatnot. If you feel good after that, then you can start to eat food. So basically what I would recommend doing is choosing foods that are going to be high in carbohydrate, easy to digest. Primarily, that's going to be your focus. You want to limit greasy food, fried food, etc., because that's going to limit absorption of what you need to be getting. More glycogen, more water weight on, and really carbohydrates are going to be the number one thing there. So high glycemic carbs. Potatoes are really good too because they have a lot of potassium, vitamin A, B, and C. You should also be getting some potassium and some salt with this. I actually do recommend for most of my athletes that they get some sort of light salt because that's going to have a combination of potassium and salt, and just like use that on their food. Have like some teas, have some of that because you need potassium and sodium in order to reconstitute properly, because those are both important for contractions and whatnot of your body, for your muscles, and it's also going to be important to be getting both of those so that your body does like actually function properly. Because when you're cutting water, you're going to be depleting like a lot of potassium and a lot of sodium, so you need to get both of those things in to be able to perform well. Foods that you should choose. Usually, like I high, again, like this is like a good example. It's a high glycemic carbohydrates. If you're doing your pre-workout nutrition properly, like having similar foods to what you should have, around your workouts. So moderate protein, low fat, high carbohydrate. That's going to be the best option. Eat around 45 minutes to an hour post weigh-ins after getting some fluid, letting your stomach settle. Mostly carbs. Just to replenish glycogen, help hold water, and you should be eating every 2 to 3 hours post weigh-ins. Eating like just every single 2 to 3 hours. Having enough salt, water, doing that all day. This should be a really good option for you guys getting back and reconstituted. So hopefully this is helpful. Hopefully this is helpful for resources. Again, if you have any questions, just email me at adamdp@gmail.com.